Good morning, everyone. Hopefully everyone's here to hear about the Cuyahoga County College Savings Account program that we're offering or starting this fall. My name is Ken Surratt. I'm a special assistant to the county executive, focusing mainly on the kind of education portfolio here at the county. But before I dive in a little bit, I wanted to do a couple housekeeping things. I do have a sign-in sheet. Would like to know who's in the room. So if everyone, before they go, could just make sure that they sign in, I'd appreciate that. Also, don't be scared by the video camera. This is really, it's going to be focused mostly on me and the presentation. And that's really so that anyone that was not able to attend today, we're going to post this to the Western Reserve Plan website, which is westernreserveplan.org, so that it is available for others to see as well. And that way they can get the background on the program. So here's a quick agenda of what we want to go through today. Really provide a little bit of context about why we're doing this college savings program and to kind of the purpose of it, and then give an overview how we see the program working. Talk a little bit then about the request to the financial institutions that we like to partner with, and then into the RFP process. At the end, we'll leave plenty of time to for you all to ask any questions that you may have about the program, as well as the RFP process. And we do have a representative from our procurement office here that can help answer those questions. So just moving into the context, I mean, what do we know? We know that we have jobs that we need jobs here in this area, and there's still some jobs to fill. But of the jobs that are coming and going to be around by 2018, this is a Georgetown University report, 57% of these jobs are going to require some sort of post-secondary education. Why that's a little bit of a challenge now is, currently just over a third of Cuyahoga County residents have an associate's degree or higher. So you can see that there's a mismatch there already. One of the impediments, though, of gaining this post-secondary education clearly is costs. And costs are rising just from the past year, average of 4.8 increase in tuition fees for public colleges and 4.2% in private colleges. So as that cost keeps rising, it's going to be even more challenging for people to acquire a post-secondary education. But we do know that if people save, and there's research that shows youth with a savings account actually are 7 times more likely to attend college than those who do not. So we know the savings is an important part in helping achieve that post-secondary education goal, which we know is going to be vital to our local economy here. So in the Cuyahoga County Charter, we are obliged to work towards workforce development programs, as well as provide for scholarship opportunity. And I think there's opportunity. We could do a typical scholarship type program, which would help some residents in our county, those most likely who are already on track to go to college or obtain some sort of post-secondary education. But the county executive said, what's something that we can do broader, that have a bigger impact and really change the life of more people. And that's really the genesis of the College Savings Account program. We really want to create a cultural change here about how do we view education here within the county, and let people know that we believe there is a life, an educational life beyond high school for most of the residents within this county. And really increase those post-secondary graduation rates so that people are prepared for those jobs of the future. While doing this, other benefits that we really hope to see is increasing the banked population. We know that there's about 8% within this Cuyahoga or greater Cleveland area that are unbanked. And that doesn't even count the ones that are considered underbanked. So again, increasing the financial literacy and knowledge of our residents to make better financial decisions, which again will improve everyone within the county, and again, ultimately creating the workforce that we need for this area to thrive. So I want to give a brief overview of how we see this college savings program work. Cuyahoga County will deposit for every incoming kindergartner this fall $100 for post-secondary education. We estimate it's about $15,000 or 15,000 children each year that this will impact. And the way we see that is money we deposit we'll hold within a custodial account, and then once a child reaches age and actually incurs, I guess, one of the qualified uses of the money, that they are eligible for that money deposited by the county, and we'll provide it to them then. Throughout this, again, kindergarten through high school, we really want to provide financial education to families and students. I think it's part of this to really create that change in mindset. It's not just for college education, but also how to become better financial stewards. We're looking for our financial institution that we'll partner with, as well as any community organizations that focus on financial education, to partner with this and with the schools. During this course, clearly, we'll be encouraging families to contribute. Again, 7 times more likely if they have a savings account in their name, the more that they can contribute to it, and throughout their K-12 schooling, the opportunity, the greater the opportunity they have to move on to a post-secondary education, because they'll have the financial means in order to do so. And to help encourage that savings, we're looking for, we're going to reach out to the private sector, foundations as well, to create incentives for savings, to match, the first $100 that you save. Maybe there's a 1-to-1 match. Those incentives need to be finalized, but those are the types of things that we're looking to do to encourage that savings. And then lastly, the money that is saved can be used for post-secondary education expenses. And that could include tuition fees, application fees, any kind of, in the current draft of legislation includes even entrance, college placement exams, et cetera. So it is there to really help create, help remove some of the barriers, at least financial barriers, of attending a post-secondary school. And this includes 2 4-year colleges, as well as any kind of trade or vocational school, when I say post-secondary. So what is our request out to the financial institutions? First, we need someone to hold these accounts, and banks are clearly the best organizations out there in order to do that. What we're looking for are no-cost deposit-only accounts. Again, where the county holds its money, and any money is kind of donated to the program. But then how it works in a similar program in San Francisco is that there's sub-accounts underneath that are assigned for each one of the individual students. I think one of the great advantages of having a bank here be a partner with us is that there are multiple avenues in order for families to make deposits via branches. It could be online, maybe through ATMs. We really are looking for ways to make it as easy as possible for families to deposit money into these accounts. Clearly, holding the account and keeping it safe throughout the child's education, K-12 program is important, and then ultimately helping with the release of the money once a qualified use is there. Throughout this program, we really want to measure its success and its impact. So we will ask for regular reporting on things such as number of deposits, number of new accounts opened. We really and number of people who are continuously saving throughout this program. Again, we really want to measure and make sure that we are measuring the impact of not just the college going, but also some of the financial metrics as well. And lastly here, to be a partner in providing that financial education to the families and to the schools. I know historically a lot the banks here in Cleveland have been partners with some of the local school districts in providing financial education resources, and we would like to see that that continue with all of the schools in the county. So what's the process? Again, hopefully everyone has received the RFP. It's also posted on our Cuyahoga County website. As I mentioned before, that Western Reserve Plan document, I will post this video as well as the presentation. And any questions that come in and the responses, we'll make sure that we post there so that everyone has the ability to see the answers to those questions. We ask that the proposals be in by 11 a.m. April 30th, and with the decision to be made by the end of May here at the county. And I mean, lastly, there's any questions, please direct them directly to me. Here's my phone and email. I also left some business cards on the table here as well. And I can reach out to whatever party I need to ensure that we answer your question. So with that, I will just open it up to any questions from anyone.
Can I make a comment? Ken underscored the request that the responses be submitted to the Office of Procurement and Diversity by 11 o'clock. That office is located on the first floor of this building. Historically, it was located in the annex, but I do want folks to understand that the OPD is just off the Ontario Street entrance, and that deadline is firm. We frequently have applications that come to us after that time frame, and we are not able to accept them. So please understand that is a firm deadline. Are
there any questions about how college savings plans work, our particular plan?
I mean, can I have a question? And it seems as though with the RFP, you're looking for one particular bank opposed to multiple banks to take on this opportunity. Is that correct?
The question, I'm going to repeat this just for the camera purposes, but the question is, are we looking for one bank versus multiple banks? And we actually have the option to, that's in the RFP, to have multiple partners in this. I think with multiple partners, there will definitely need to be a lot of coordination, I think, between them to ensure we want to make sure that whatever the product is, that is consistent for everybody within the county. So we are open to multiple partners.
And then just one other question. You made reference to the reporting, and it will be set up as custodian account, right? Who will be acting as that custodian? Is it a division of the county? And just to understand the relationship between the bank and the reporting to that custodian and making sure that it's reported into the county.
Correct. The question is who is the custodian of the account? And the custodian will be Cuyahoga County. Yes.
mentioned the San Francisco program. Can you give us a little bit more history on that, how long it's been in effect and the success rate? And are they working with one bank and potentially who that is?
Sure. So you'd like to hear more about the San Francisco program. The San Francisco program is called the Kindergarten to College. It's been around since third year now. It's a much smaller program. They've started it with just a pilot group the first couple years. So there are only a few thousand students involved in it, and students within just the San Francisco public schools. It really is a partnership. It's a similar where the city makes a deposit. There's some incentives involved as well. Because it's only in the third year, it's hard to, there's not a lot of data, unfortunately, on its success, but they are finding, and there is a document posted that should have been with the RFP, and it's also posted on the Western Reserve site that describes the kindergarten to college program and kind of where it is right now. So there isn't a lot of data on the success of it just yet. The banking partners is Citigroup, and they have designed a program, and actually they've taken this to another group of schools, a group of KIPP charter schools as well. Citigroup has done something similar of a college savings program. So that right now is probably the biggest example, or the closest example to what we're trying to do, but it's still very much in its infancy.
And again, this program is for parochial schools, public schools, charter schools, so all incoming kindergartners.
So the question is which students are eligible, and it is all incoming kindergarten students who are residents within Cuyahoga County, regardless of what kind of school they go to, whether they go to a public school, private, parochial, charter. Yes.
So Ken, if the county is going to be the custodian, will the county initiate the account openings? What's that process going to look like?
Sure. Part of this, I think, will be fully answered with when we secure the partner, but we have the Educational Services Center of Cuyahoga County who will report to us all the students who are eligible, and we can provide information to the banks of here are the sub-accounts that need to be created. Again, the county will create the custodial account, but then the sub-accounts will need to be created for each one of those incoming kindergartner students, which we can provide the names and information. I believe the way it works in San Francisco, the banks were able to open the accounts with pretty minimal information. Again, we have to be careful because of FERPA reasons, but I believe it was the name, date of birth, and address.
And I don't think they needed social, and I don't think that the parents had to sign.
Correct.
First custodial.
In San Francisco, there are incentives based on kids qualifying for free and reduced lunch, and for that information, parents need to fill out or give approval to share that information. Ours is going to be an opt-out program. Parents will automatically, or the students will automatically be enrolled in the program unless a parent decides to opt out.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll start from PNC. I think I have two questions, and the first is kind of a broad question around different approaches to answer the RFP. It's a great program. Congratulations on the county for doing this. And the RFP was very clear. There's things we need to reply to and respond to that we will. But would the county be open to the financial institution collaborating with other parties to provide the service? Would the county be open to maybe some different structures that would provide great service for years to come that might be a little bit different than perhaps the intent of the RFP?
That's a great question. Are we open to other structures and replying on them based on the RFP? I think I would ask the question back a little bit to get a little more clarification. So are you talking multiple banks partnering with local nonprofits for pieces of the financial literacy? Is that?
Not the first. Michael asked the question about multiple banks, and
Okay.
he's open to that, and you're right, there'd be a lot of collaboration that needs to take place to make sure it's a consistent program throughout the county. So your second example, though, where maybe the financial institution partners with a not-for-profit on the financial net side, or might partner with someone who already has developed the technology to support this program, things like that. And even to the extent where we might suggest a public-private partnership where we would maybe share any upfront costs between the county and the financial institution, and then share the profits on the product going forward.
I think that that's definitely an option. It's still, I think, fulfilling the requirements of the RFP. It's just, in some ways, subcontracting parts of the work.
Yes. Just different alternatives.
Yes.
The other question I had, and I read the RFP, and I read it quickly, to be honest with you, Ken, I may have missed it, but in order to reply to the RFP, does the vendor need to have operations here in Cuyahoga County?
The way that does the respondent need to have operations here within Cuyahoga County? I'm not entirely sure if you mean headquartered here necessarily. In that case, I would say no. But we would like to have a large footprint within this community. Again, I think one of the characteristics that we're looking for are multiple pathways in order to make it easy for families to make deposits. So are there, what's your footprint here and throughout the county? Do you have a large number of branches, ATMs, that families can come in and make the deposit? I think that is the more important than necessarily being headquartered here within Cuyahoga County.
The premise of my question, I guess, or where my question was pointed was you referenced the San Francisco experience, and there are a few others very small around the country. And there are some national providers of the service the RFP speaks to, but they're not here, right? They have zero operations here. I wondered if you were going to be open to a national provider responding. That would not have operations here.
We'd be open to them responding in the scoring. One of the factors is number of branches and pathways and ease of making deposits for our residents. So in that instance, if they don't have a large footprint here, I think they would be scored lower in that area.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions? Mr. Taylor.
I'm curious if you had an opportunity to, in some ways, pro forma it out, or just even have some kind of guesstimate as to what the average deposits would be. I know that there are several of dollars coming in different ways. Parents can actually contribute. In your mind, do you think after a 13-year period, what does that look like as far as that nest egg for that student?
So have we looked forward to see what are the deposits going to look like over the life of this project? In all honesty, we don't know right now. Again, it would be great if the San Francisco program was a little bit older and more mature, then we'd be able to kind of see what the rates in which their families are saving. What we do know about their program is only, I think, 1% of the families opted out of this program. So families are continuing to save. There still is private investment coming in and matching savings of the families, and we hope that we have a similar case here in Cuyahoga County.
And any restrictions on, I'm sure, on the types of investments? I also recognize that there was an October 529s. Are you able to even convert at some period of time into something that maybe yield a little bit better interest for them?
Sure. Is there the option for converting this account into something else? I think that we're still developing the policies and procedures. I think that is a possibility. I mean, that there's definitely benefits to the 529 in terms of, I think, the yield. But I also think there's some limitations over how do you make deposits and minimum deposits and so forth. So I think, you know, again, a great benefit of this would be to have our residents become more financially savvy and do what's best for them and their families. So if it's continuing to save in our college savings program and then also opening a 529, I think that's great, or other financial products that the financial institutions have. No.
Ken, can you just provide an update on the legislative path of the ordinance and the program, and just so that folks will understand
Sure. when
they see it go public?
Sure. So actually just yesterday, a draft of the legislation was approved within committee, is now going to the full council. It will take a couple reads in order for the legislation to be officially adopted. But we do see that it's in process. That path is clear, and with the goal of hopefully, you know, 2 reads would be the end of this month. So when we wanted to make sure, one of the important steps and why we put the RFP out before the legislation was finalized, to make the rules and to answer a lot of the questions, we're going to need to know, and just to get the program up and running by fall, we're going to need to ensure or have that partner in place and helping work and develop this program so that we can, again, ensure that it's ready to go when kids start school this fall.
And if I could add to that, I would just like to acknowledge that Councilman Julian Rogers has shown a lot of leadership on this project. Council actually has an obligation to be a part of the administration of this program per the charter. So I think they're keenly aware of its progress and what the goals are, and are clearly showing great support of the initiative.
Yes, thank you. Well, if there are no other questions, again, I thank you. If you do come up with any questions, my phone number and email are here. Again, business cards are there. And again, if you can, if you haven't already done so, please sign the sign-in sheet so that I can make sure that I can get in contact with you and ensure you have any updates to the program. Thank you.